You know, the human brain, it's literally the most complex thing we know of in the entire universe. It's just packed with billions of neurons all firing away in this silent storm that creates, well, everything, our reality. For centuries, it's been a total black box, but we are right on the verge of a revolution, finally starting to decode its biggest secrets. And it all kicks off with one single number. So what's with this number, 3,313? Is it the number of stars you can spot on a perfect night? Nope. Maybe the number of parts in a high-end sports car? Not even close. Get this, that is the number of different types of brain cells that scientists have just recently identified. We're not just talking about a lot of cells, we're talking about a mind-blowing level of specialization that we're only now beginning to wrap our heads around.
So when you're faced with that kind of insane complexity, where do you even begin? Well, you do what explorers have always done. You start drawing a map. Only this time, instead of charting new continents, researchers are building this enormous atlas of the brain itself, tracing out the connections that form the very landscape of our thoughts.
I mean, seriously, think about this for a second. You walk into a room you've never been in, and you instantly get your bearings. You can navigate a huge grocery store, weaving through aisles without even thinking about it. How on earth does your brain build this internal sense of space so effortlessly? The answer is hiding in a really remarkable set of neurons that act like the brain's own built-in GPS.
And this is the secret sauce, the discovery of what are called grid cells, which, by the way, won a Nobel Prize. It revealed the brain's internal GPS. These amazing neurons, they don't just mark one spot. Oh no, they create this invisible, hexagonal, kind of honeycomb-like grid over any space you're in. As you move around, different cells fire, telling your brain exactly where you are on this internal map. It is just an incredibly elegant biological algorithm for getting around.
And here's what's so cool. This shows us that our brain's wiring is just fundamentally different from other animals. A mouse's brain might send information down a single channel, kind of like a simple one-lane country road. But the human brain? It uses multiple parallel pathways, like a massive multi-lane superhighway. This could be the very thing that gives us our ability for complex, abstract thought. If one road's blocked, we just find another. It's a design that's built for creativity and resilience.
Okay, so if we can read the map of the brain, what's the next logical step? Well, of course, it's learning to write on it. And this takes us from just watching the brain to actually communicating with it. This, my friends, is the frontier of brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. We're talking about technology that promises to turn the silent language of our neurons into direct, powerful action in the real world.
And look, this isn't just some cool tech problem for engineers to solve. This is about something deeply human. For people who've lost their ability to speak because of paralysis or an injury, BCIs offer this incredible glimmer of hope, the chance to connect again, to be heard, to just be part of the conversation.
So how in the world does this actually work? Let's break it down. First, a tiny patch of electrodes gets implanted to listen in on the brain signals for trying to speak. Second, you have these super powerful machine learning models that act like a universal translator. They figure out what those raw signals mean in terms of basic sounds like ah or shh. And finally, those little sounds get strung together into words and spoken out loud by a computer. It's this incredible dance between our biology and our technology.
And just to be clear, this is not science fiction. This is happening right now. This is Casey Harrell, a real person with ALS, whose entire life has been changed. The ability to talk with his family, to share what he's thinking and feeling after years of being trapped in silence. I mean, this is the amazing promise of BCI technology becoming a reality.
All right, but what if we took this one giant mind-bending leap forward? Not just talking to the brain, but using its own design and its actual tissue to build a completely new kind of computer. This is where things get really wild. Welcome to the world of biocomputing.
Get this, the amount of energy it takes to run today's big AI models is just staggering. Training one of these things can use more electricity than thousands of homes in a year. The human brain, on the other hand, is an absolute marvel of efficiency. Bioprocessors are all about harnessing that natural efficiency, and they could potentially cut down power use by a factor of 1,000,000. 1,000,000!
So you see these two images, right? On one side, you've got this beautiful, almost chaotic web of living neurons. And on the other, the super clean, controlled world of a high-tech lab. This collision of worlds is exactly what wetware is, a totally new kind of tech that's part hardware, part software, and part living, breathing biology. So let's peek under the hood of what this actually looks like. A company called Final Spark has built a system that uses 16 living human brain organoids. These are tiny, lab-grown little masses of brain tissue. And these organoids are the core of a processor. Right now they live for about 100 days, and the goal here is, well, it's nothing short of creating the world's first truly living computer.
So let's just recap for a second. We're learning to map the mind, talk to it, and now even build computers with it. As all of this tech just keeps accelerating, it forces us to ask some really profound questions about where we're headed, to a future where that line between human and machine gets really, really blurred.
You know, this technology puts us at a massive fork in the road. There are two very different futures ahead. The utopian dream is obvious, right? Restoring sight, speech, movement. But the dystopian nightmare is just as real. Imagine a world where this tech isn't used to heal, but to manipulate, to force you to pay attention to an ad, or even to make you feel dizzy or see things that aren't actually there. The same exact tool holds the potential for incredible good and significant harm.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question here, doesn't it? The power to read and write the code of the mind is arguably the most powerful tool humanity will ever create. So deciding who gets to hold that pen and what they're allowed to write, well, that might just be the most important conversation of our lifetime. And it's one we all need to start having right now.